Hello, future people. Welcome to Getting Tabled. I'm Jason the Bruce, and today we're going to have a look at the very last piece of my Bakemono order from GCT Studios. This is the Bakemono Boomers. So who are the Boomers? The Boomers have gone and stolen a really big gun from somebody, and they're going to aim it at your guys and blow them up with it, because that's just the way that they roll. These guys are a lot of fun. Hopefully there is a lot of fun to look at as they appear to be in the rules. Let's get down and have a look. So once again, it's the usual sort of case that we've seen from the rest. Slightly larger base. So, they cost you 10 rice each. You can have 2 of them. There's 2 in melee. You can boost it for 3. They move 4. They have 5 wounds each. They have 2 in ranged. That's what you're going to be using. You can boost it for 3. They generate 1 key, which goes into the pool. They do have an improvised weapon that has a -2 strength modifier. It's probably not what I'd be using them for unless you got absolutely desperate. But this is the big one. They've got the Arquebus. It's got Pierce 3, Reload 2, +4 strength. Its range band is 6, 12, and 18. Armor 3, Camouflage 4 inches, Cowardly, and Tiny. So, Tiny generally means that they are harder to hit with ranged attacks, but obviously because they are on a larger base, that does bring them in range a little bit more. So they do have one unique effect. This model loses camouflage until the end of the phase when it makes a ranged attack. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because it's a really loud gun that makes a very large boom and everybody knows where they came from. Kind of makes a bit of sense. Otherwise, this really could do some damage, especially if you're facing an army. I don't know, maybe the Minimoto. If you want to face off Ben and take out his big armor guys, this is going to help you a little bit. I mean, obviously there's other people. I'm just picking on Ben because he deserves it. All right, coming up first, this appears to be the guy that's holding the gun. Really nice detail on the muscle and everything. He's got armor around his hips, but not his top half. I guess maybe because the gun is protecting his top half, I suppose, is his plan. There's his Arquebus, styled very much like the one that the Prefecture of Ryu have, because I believe in the lore that's where they stole it from. Little bit of hanging on here. They're easy to break off, though. And then we've got this guy kneeling down in front with his flamers. So he's holding up a little tripod for the guy to rest the gun on. And then he's getting ready to light it so that it can go kablooey. And then we have this, which is a bit of an arm. Now, it's kind of a little bit small to get the detail, but basically that will connect up into there. And then that's what this ends up connecting to complete the look. I've got it upside down. But you get the idea. Getting Tabled has announced their very first giveaway. This Shaltari fleet was purchased with my own money for this express purpose. In order to enter the competition, you need to join us on Patreon. For every month of support, which is only $2 a month, you gain 1 entry into the competition between now and the recording on April 2nd, 2023, which is the 4-year anniversary of our podcast. You will get the Shaltari Dreadnought, the Shaltari Starter Fleet, the Shaltari Frigate Box, and the Shaltari Cruiser Box. This will all go out to one person. We will be covering it. Please understand that in order to enter the competition, you cannot live in a country where it's illegal to win prizes. There are countries out there that fall under this banner, and it's not something that we can control. This has all been purchased with my own money. None of this is funded. None of this is sponsored. I have purchased all of this with the express purpose of thanking one particular person that supports us on Patreon. That person will be drawn at random on the recording that we do on April 2nd, 2023. If you join us on Patreon, one of the things that you can do is listen to our recordings live as they're done through the Discord. Please consider supporting us. It's only $2 a month. We would really, really appreciate your time. All right, and here we are with the final piece. Now, first things first, I was wrong when I was going through the pieces. That extra arm piece actually belongs to this guy in the front. I didn't actually notice, but it actually fits in there really nicely, really perfectly. I'm actually kind of surprised I didn't notice that gap there. I guess I was looking at everything else. Detail on these guys is really, really nice. Actually better than I was expecting when I come, honestly. It's kind of hard to know sometimes when you're looking at some of the slightly older models, but this is very clearly after things started getting better. Although, even when we looked at the Bakemono blister recently, like, there's a lot of it that really holds up. One thing in particular I really do like is the fact that clearly this guy has been on the wrong end of this stick at some point. I like the fact that it's just really nice. I really, really, really like this. And they work together really well. It does remind me somewhat of the Skaven. There's a Games Workshop model that I can't think what it's called right now, but it's the Skaven gun, guys. It kind of reminds me of that, except they use their shield. I really, really like this. I do seem to have a little bit of lift here. That, like, clearly this leg was bent at some point. Either that or maybe I have this guy positioned a little bit too close. Maybe I could pull him back and that would help with that. But honestly, I think I'm just going to get some sand underneath it because I kind of like the fact that there's an elevation there. The closer this guy comes in, the more that's going to lift up because the closer you get, the more it's going to start doing this. So, but I actually quite like the way that I have that posed. Really easy to build, honestly. I had no problem building this at all. Really, really nice. All right. And last but not least, I wanted to do just a little bit of a size comparison for you. So we've got our new guy here in the middle, next to tuning. And then we have Itsunagi here on the end, just to put everything in line with how he fits in. Like I said, these guys are absolutely phenomenal. There we go. That is my Bakemono series. For those of you that are not already aware, this is a series of purchases that I made in direct response to a series that Brother Bear and I did called Welcome to the Jwar Isle. If you're not familiar with that, but you would like to look into a little bit closer to Bakemono, it's a series we put a lot of time into. You can find the link to the playlist up here. Honestly, I'd highly recommend it. It doesn't go through everything, but it gives you a snapshot and a very clear way of how each faction works to try and help new people find their way into the game. Honestly, Bushido is not as hard to get into as you think it is. Bushido has a very simple rule set. The once you know the basics of, is really easy to dive into. Honestly, you've made it through to the end of another video. Your next mission is to hit subscribe and comment down below. If you'd like to reach out to the team, consider doing that, gettingtabled@gmail.com. Consider subscribing to our Patreon. For only $2 a month, you get early access to almost every single video that we do. Our most active social media is facebook.com/gettingtabled. It's where you'll find everything first. There's also a Discord. There's an invite on screen right now. If you type that in, it'll give you instant access. If you're on Twitter or Instagram, you can find us at Getting Tabled. It's not the most active, but it's something we're trying to use more all the time. Come and check out Jason the Bruce at Twitch. He does both video game and hobby content. And of course, without question, play more games.